Hi, I'm Bruce. This is Speed and Color. In this episode, we go over to Calgary Harley-Davidson to take a look at a beautiful bike that they've built along with CHD Customs, their customs division. It's just a gorgeous 2021 Pan America. Really like the bike. Really thought that you might be interested in seeing it. We spent a little time with the folks over there, introduced them to you, or some of them at least, and we get to know Calgary Harley-Davidson a little bit. Um, Very fortunate to have Calgary Harley-Davidson as our dealer here in Calgary. That makes sense, huh? They're good people. The dealership has come so far. They do a really good job. As is mentioned in the video, they are 3 years in a row the #1 new motorcycle sales dealer in Canada. So this is the #1 dealer in Canada for new bike sales. They're doing a great job over there. The service department is good. The parts department is good. Apparel is fantastic. They do a really good job with what has become a fairly limited space. It's a cool building. It's kind of divided up, or not divided up, but it has some angles to it. It's not your typical rectangular box kind of building. So they do a good job with what they have, but honestly, I think that the owner probably is looking at options, and I think it's just about time to expand into a bigger building. We'll see what happens there. I also wanted to take an opportunity while I'm speaking to you now. I am amazed at who watches these videos. We have viewers in Australia and Indonesia and the Philippines, and of course we've got a big viewership in the US. And to all my American friends, thank you so much for watching. And to everybody else around the world, thank you for taking time to sit down and watch, even if it's only a couple of minutes of these videos, or pick through it and find the pieces you want. I'm just glad that there's some value here in what I'm doing, and hopefully you're enjoying it and getting something out of it. That said, I also wanted to take the opportunity to welcome you to Calgary if you ever get the opportunity. Calgary's a great city, a lot of fun. It's a very clean city. It's very current. We have a lot of fun here with the Stampede. We're known for our Calgary Stampede. There's certainly a Western flair and a cowboy feel to the area and all that kind of stuff. We do a lot of farming in Alberta and raising a lot of cattle, all that kind of thing. So agriculture is a big deal, but it's just, we have the mountains, we have, Kananaskis country, which is a provincial area. We've got some beautiful highways. I'm not going to kid you. Some of the roads in Calgary are in pretty tough shape, but we deal with this winter thing that makes it really tough. We get some extremely cold temperatures in the winter. You get frost heaves and everything. So maintaining roads is a tough go in Calgary and in Alberta, in Canada for that matter. However, we do have some really nice highways, some beautiful areas. From Calgary here, you can be out to Banff in about an hour. Banff National Park is beautiful. You can shoot up the Columbia Icefields Highway to Jasper. It's not a real long ride, half a day get you up there. You can enjoy Jasper, which I find Jasper is a little more, it's maybe not quite as current and as hectic and busy as Banff is, but Jasper is a beautiful area. As I said, Kananaskis country, we've got golf courses, we've got all kinds of stuff to do here. The riding is great. You should know that if you're going to come and visit, really our season goes, I would say it goes May to October. May and June can be kind of iffy. That's when we get rain. Those are our wet months. So hit and miss on the rain there. Boy, oh boy, July and August, though, we get good weather in July and August typically. It's really good. That's when the crops ripen. That's when we get that heat and everything. Septembers are usually pretty nice here. Octobers quite often are really nice. But they can get a little chilly, and certainly getting into November, it's dicey. So it's a shorter season here. We struggle with it. We make do with it. But just know that if you're planning to visit, that really, I would say that mid-June to mid-September is really the sweet spot that you want to aim for. We'd love to have you here. We'd love to see you. Calgary Harley-Davidson has a rental department, so you can certainly rent bikes for while you're here. Even if you're here on business, the airport is very close to Calgary Harley-Davidson. You could shoot over there, rent a bike, and if you're here for 3 or 4 days on business, heck, why not do it on a motorcycle? So lots of opportunity here. Be happy to answer any questions about the area that you might have. I just want you to know that we welcome visitors. We'd love to see you. I'd love to meet some of you and see you while you're here. And it's just a great place to ride, to see, lots of things to do. Really proud of where we live and really proud of our Harley-Davidson dealer. Okay, we're going to get on to the show. I just wanted to express that to you. Oh, I should tell you too, because I forgot to do it in the show here. Instagram, Speed and Color. YouTube, Speed and Color. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're on all the podcast platforms. So certainly Speed and Color. Look us up. Be very happy if you'd subscribe. Turn on notifications. Hit that like if you like the episode, which I hope you do. And of course, by all means, leave me a comment, ask me a question, anything you got. Hey, I'm happy to try and answer. All right, we're going to head into Calgary Harley-Davidson, meet the folks, and take a look at this bike. Thanks for watching. Hey there, here we are at Calgary Harley-Davidson. And it's interesting. I think everybody who does a podcast on motorcycles has a favorite dealer. And I'm fortunate enough that my hometown dealer, my favorite dealer, is Calgary Harley-Davidson. And they just happen to be the best damn Harley-Davidson dealer around. So it works out really well. I have several people with me here today. I have Yketa from Motorclothes. She is a general manager of some kind. We're going to learn more about her in a second. I have Kobi, who is the sales manager, general sales manager, it says on the website. Yeah. And Tom, the assistant sales manager. So we're going to do
general assistant sales manager.
General assistant. Well, actually, a friend of mine used to call himself the assistant manager, but he was actually the manager's assistant. And there's a very big difference between being the assistant manager and the manager's assistant. But anyway, that's for another time. We're going to talk about this beautiful machine today in a few minutes. But first, I'm going to let Yketa introduce herself and tell you what she does at Harley. And she's got lots to say.
Hi guys, my name is Yketa, and I've worked for Harley-Davidson since 2012. I am an original Calgary Harley-Davidson girl. I've known Bruce here since the beginning of that, and yes, that's why he's such a sharp-dressed man. Dress him. But yeah, I love my job. I have the dream job. I get to come to Harley-Davidson every day and spend all of the boss's money on all that good stuff in the general merchandise department. So from gear, clothing, apparel, we have everything. We've got furniture, jewelry, footwear. I get to come here every day and I get to shop. And then I get to make people like Bruce and Kobi and Tom look this good because we are selling a lifestyle. And one thing I love to tell customers when they get their first Harley-Davidson is you just became the easiest person to shop for. Birthdays, Christmas, anniversaries, you name it. It's a one-stop shop. They always want something from the Harley store. If your wife likes it, you're the luckiest man because you don't even have to go to the mall at Christmas. You can come see me or one of the other awesome girls in the clothing department, and we love to help you out. We even brag.
You and Karen get together frequently.
That's
don't you?
right.
Yes.
Like it's just, I can't say enough. Like I also run Banff Harley-Davidson, which I hope anytime you guys ride out to the mountains, you stop in and say hi to the Banff crew. It's not a store like this where they have all the bikes and the parts, but it's one of those tourist shops where you get the poker chip and you get the t-shirt. I love my job. I can't say that enough. I've been doing it forever, and I've loved watching Harley evolve. The quality of the product is amazing. I feel good when somebody comes in and I get to dress them head to toe, helmet, jacket, bottoms, footwear, gloves. I know that not only are they going to look great on their new Harley-Davidson motorcycle, but they're going to feel good, and that confidence is what's going to take them on the road and let them ride into the sunset. And then we got Kobi who sells dreams. So it's a great job. I can't say enough about how much I love working here.
And Yketa did pick out all of our shirts for today, so she dressed us again. And yeah, it's a great place. I'll mention, not only riding out to Banff, but if you're in Calgary on business or whatever, this place is not far from the airport. Stop in before you get back on the plane and grab something while you're here. If you're from the U.S., your dollars go a lot further in Canada than they do in the U.S., so stop by.
I always say that too to people from all over Canada. If you're from Ontario, I'm like, oh, you save 8% in taxes alone.
Yes,
so why wouldn't you buy that jacket here? Plus, we have the largest selection of riding gear and apparel. We've pretty much outgrown this store. We sell so many motorcycles. I wish I could bring it all in, and I do my best to keep fully stocked and try to have everything that everybody sees and wants. Yeah. And I think I do a pretty good job, and I think that's another reason that we're the #1 dealership in Canada.
You do a great job, and I was just going to ask, I know a couple of years ago you were #2 in apparel.
You know, and I'm still #2 in genuine apparel. And by genuine, that's the stuff you see in the catalog that's registered. So it doesn't include things like jewelry, footwear, accessories, barware, children's clothing, any of the t-shirts or licensed stuff that say Calgary, none of that's included. So it's actually just the genuine apparel and riding gear. The only dealer that has beaten me the last couple of years is Fremont in Quebec City. And they have a different market, and their store is quite a bit larger than ours, but I am coming in hot, and I plan on taking that #1 spot. So they gotta watch themselves, because it is mine.
Right on. So I said I wouldn't ask you, but Kobi's going to back you up on this. You were going to talk about the 2024 collection a little bit. And I'm wondering what the flat track racing department stuff is about, because I haven't seen that in previous years.
Well, flat track you're going to see a lot in the spring and summer season, because Tom here told me that Harley-Davidson is #1 in their flat track racing, and these guys on the flat track take corners at $1.45.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's pretty crazy. So they're really promoting that. Also, Harley does a lot of collabs with celebrities, and I just seen a collection with Post Malone, and I get people calling me, like there was the Jason Momoa collection, which was like, ooh, Jason Momoa, and everybody's like, I want this purple shirt, I want this, you know, swag, Hawaii looking stuff, and a lot of the times that stuff is only available at the museum. So this new Post Malone collection that I just seen online, which was Chrome Malone, it's like Chromosome, the Chrome Malone. It was really cool because, like, I mean, he's a pretty big name in the music industry. Yeah. So when they collaborate with Harley and they come out with these awesome collections, like you got a lot of interest in it. because people want that, right? They think of Harley and they think cool. And not only that, they're bringing in younger generations and marketing towards these younger generations and clientele. So unfortunately, guys, I will not be getting the Chrome Malone. That will only be available at the museum, but I will be in Milwaukee in June for a buying show. And something that's really fun about my job is that I get to spend a lot of the boss's money on all this stuff. My favorite part, dressing you guys. But I'll be doing my orders for next summer already. So I order 8-10 months in advance. I get the catalog. I already know what's coming in the store next year. I get to go there. It's the first time since COVID that I'll actually get to go to a show in a couple years and touch it and feel it and try it on and kind of get to see all the features and benefits that they offer. The last couple seasons, it's kind of been blind ordering through a catalog, so you got to be really careful looking for types of fabric and stuff. And sometimes things show up and they're not what you thought they were going to be. So for me, it's really beneficial to have like a successful season and bring in the right product for my consumers when I actually physically get to see it, touch it, try it on.
Wow. I'm going to go take care of the lights, Bruce. I'll be right back.
I guess we're on a time.
Sorry, guys.
This is what we do after hours at Calgary Harley-Davidson.
This will be fairly easy to edit
To edit out, yeah.
And
I was talking about Milwaukee, so I'm just going to jump right there.
okay.
So yeah, this June, I'm super excited to get to go to Milwaukee and check out all the product that's going to be available next spring and summer and make sure that we have an amazing lineup for our customers to shop.
Great. And by the way, Yketa did not have to stop and turn to the old guy and explain who Mr. Malone was. I added, okay? But anyway.
The Chrome Malone, yes.
Very good. Anything else to tell us?
I don't know. What do you think would be a good topic for your customers? What do they like to know?
I think you covered it all. It's just, I mean, Harley-Davidson, it's the whole lifestyle thing, and obviously this is all a part of it. Heck, there's people who buy the shirts without owning the motorcycles. You guys know what goes on and everything. So, yeah. I think it's great. Kobi, you look like you want to say something.
Well, it's an iconic brand that has been around since 1903 is when Harley-Davidson started and launched its first motorcycle. You were asking about flat track racing, so Harley-Davidson's got a very long, proud history of flat track racing, and that's obviously everything that we see and what we do is a throwback to the past. Currently, right now, Harley-Davidson, a lot of the design and inspiration for tank badges, logos, paint schemes, all that kind of stuff actually comes from the past that they're bringing forward again to the future. Now, we do have a couple of bikes from the future here. We got a new Road Glide, we got a new Street Glide. So as we grow and as we evolve, Harley-Davidson is also doing the same. So it's constantly changing, right? It's constantly evolving.
Yes.
And we're just so happy to be part of it. But, you know, to your point, especially with us being as close as we are to the airport, we see a lot of enthusiasts coming through our doors from all across the world.
Right. Good. Great. No, I think you covered it. I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, that's a tough act to follow.
Well, I probably should go get my kiddos, but...
Okay. So we'll let you go if you want to go on your...
Make sure you guys keep watching Bruce. Speed and color.
Thank you. If you want to just turn your microphone off, that would be great.
Come on
All right.
Tom.
So you guys... now it's time to find out a little bit about you. So, Kobi, you first.
So I've been with Calgary Harley-Davidson since January 2nd of 2020. And then slightly after I joined the dealership here, the world fell apart. During the COVID years and months, everything else. I came from the car business. I was about 19 years working with both Nissan and Toyota in that time frame. So I was planning on buying a Harley after I sold my house in Vancouver and moved to Calgary, and I just so happened to have found an ad in Indeed that said, hey, they're looking for a sales manager at that point in time. So I thought I had nothing to lose and everything to gain and wanted to come down. So when I came down to the store, the gentleman that hired me at the time gave me the full tour of this dealership, and I can't tell you how blown away I was with the beautiful facility that, you know, I had this opportunity to come and join the team here at the dealership. So it's been a really, really fast and exciting past 4 years. We've accomplished some great goals as a team here together at Calgary Harley, and I can't wait to see what the future has in store for us, because it's
Cool.
it's a pretty amazing place to work at with
Yeah,
an amazing team.
It is
to
a
work
great
with.
team here.
Yeah,
And
and then there's
You
Tom. Yeah,
and I will say that there was a time when maybe the team wasn't so great here. This dealership has come a long way. The attitude here now, the events, everything that happens, the staff, everybody's so happy. It's a really cool environment here.
yeah.
And it wasn't always like that, but you're there now.
Yeah,
so-
well, I think we've, everybody's going to evolve just like the brand is evolving itself, right? We want to make sure that it's not intimidating when people come through our doors underneath that big barn shield, because I know for a lot of people it has been an intimidating,
Yeah.
environment to come into. And, I think, us just working together and we keep it light and we keep it fun. And I mean, we're selling one of the most desirable products in the world. It shouldn't be scary. It should be fun.
You guys have the cream of the crop. There's no doubt about that. So,
Absolutely, and
yeah.
that's the best part, right? We've got an amazing product to sell here. We have amazing customers that are coming through our doors. I mean, we could say amazing about 5,000 times over, because that's exactly what it's all about.
Right.
We have a wonderful selection of bikes. We have enthusiasts coming from all across the world, and it's just a fun environment to be in, right?
Cool.
So I believe that if you go to work and you're not having fun, then you probably shouldn't go to work anymore.
Yeah.
So I like to bring that with me. I have a great time every single day that I'm here, and no 2 days are ever the same. It's always something else. There's
Cool.
never a dull moment at Calgary Harley-Davidson.
Nice. Tom, what about you? Because it seems to me, I was thinking about it. You've been here for a while,
A
haven't you?
long time. I've been here for 31 years
No kidding.
with this dealership. Yeah.
Wow.
So I've seen a lot of evolution of Harley Davidson and the dealership
Yeah.
over the years. It's been great. I mean, you just find that job that you just love doing, like Kobi was saying, like Yketa was
Right.
saying, and you have no reason to go anywhere else. And so I've been here for 31 years.
Nice. Nice. All right. If you guys don't mind, I think what we should do is get on to talking about this. Who would like to introduce this? Tell us what this is. And,
Well, I think we should start with what this bike actually started life off as, to start off with, Bruce.
Sure, yeah.
So Harley-Davidson brought the brand new Pan America to our marketplace right at the very end of 2021.
Mhm.
Is when it came to the public. Now, the adventure touring segment, as you know from your Honda experience, represents 30% of motorcycle purchases.
Right.
Okay. So it's a huge segment that Harley-Davidson, number one, felt that they had stake in the claim on, and number two, they wanted to be part of it.
And they've had a history with adventure touring bikes all the way back to the 20s and 30s.
So they
Right.
definitely wanted to bring something into the marketplace that was going to be strong competition to the BMW GS, to the Ducati Multistrada, the Honda Africa Twin, and everything else that's in that segment there. Now, they've actually been in design and development of the Pan America going all the way back to 2009. So there's a lot of research that has gone into creating this beautiful, beautiful machine. Now, a lot of what we've been doing here is not only are we selling them as an adventure touring bike with knobby tires, big panniers, and all the accessories that the clients want, or the street version of them, but now it's definitely taken off into a whole new angle where we're getting into fully customized versions of these bikes.
Right.
This particular bike boasts 151 horsepower. And
Wow.
that's something that, of course, when we're building what we built here, we want to start off with that platform just so that we have that raw power that customers want to propel themselves down the road.
Yeah, this is an amazing motor. It's very rich. It's very thick in the mid-range. Harley-Davidson's done a variable valve-timed motor on this, and it really brings up the mid RPM torque on the bike. Everybody that's ridden the bike is really surprised at how much power there is in it.
So how much did you guys modify the engine here, or is that just...
When you start with a platform that's already that strong, we didn't touch the motor. We didn't have to. The only thing we did to this bike is we added a pipe.
And do we do, on these, do we do stage 1, stage 2 like we've done on the other models, or how does that work on these? Because Now, is this the same engine as the Sportster?
No. Well, the Sportster S has the same engine. It's just the way that Harley-Davidson tunes it. So
Right.
our Sportster S has 121 horsepower. Pan America has 151 horsepower.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what we have been doing with them is we've been toying with some different pipes on the bike, and mostly to try and emulate that classic Harley-Davidson sound. These bikes sound drastically different than your
They're
classic.
higher
Harley.
revving. They don't have that potato sound to them. This thing revs out to $9,000. Regular Harleys hits red line at 5,500 RPMs. So
Okay.
there's a lot of RPMs to play with on this bike.
Right.
Now, we can do a K&N filter for it, and mostly for the sake of having a filter that you're running over and over and over again instead of having to replace a normal paper filter. But the airbox on this bike is actually located underneath the tank. So a lot of the traditional things that you would see in a stage 1 from us, okay, is going to be hidden for one, but again, it doesn't operate exactly the same, I would say.
Good. Yeah, this is not uncommon for manufacturers to take a platform and just modify it now. With the way the world has gone, fuel injection, variable valve timing, all that kind of stuff, you can get quite a horsepower range out of the same engine. And you referred to Honda. Honda's doing exactly the same thing, right? So, yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah. Now, it's already a chain drive to start off with as well. So
Okay.
that makes it nice and easy. I do believe we actually did replace the chain on this one just for mostly that aesthetics that it does provide. Right?
We'll
The
flip
overall
it
look.
around
Yeah.
in a bit, and we'll get a look at the chain. Seeing how we kind of started with the engine, Kobi, I'll let you step up here where you're more in the frame if you want.
Sure.
Seeing how we did start with the engine, why don't you guys tell us about the exhaust, other things that doesn't look stock to me.
No, this is a completely built by Calgary Harley-Davidson Customs pipe. We took an existing pipe from another motorcycle, modified it to fit onto this bike to fit in that space underneath the swing arm.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, a lot of what we've done too is cosmetic changes. So, one of the biggest trends right now in motorcycling that's actually inspired the new Lowrider ST with Harley-Davidson was the FXRT fairing. Okay, and we found a way to mount it to the front of this bike, so it kind of gives it a very, very different iconic look. We've replaced the headlamp on that bike as well with a very, very bright circular style headlights, but it does have some of those classic looks and features. But again, it does give you that immense amount of wind deflection and also reduction in head buffeting too while you're going down the road.
Right.
We did choose to go with the same bags that were on the Sport Glide originally, and then made its way over to the Lowrider ST, because again, they're just really, really nice, handy bags to have, but they're also quick release. Okay, so they come off quite quickly, and it totally transforms and changes the look of the motorcycle when you do remove them, and it's easy for storage, easy to take up into your hotel room. So
And a very different look from the square metal boxes.
Right.
Yeah.
There's always a struggle between form over function. I've always found those square boxes to be very functional. They do their job, they're great, but they're not great looking. That's why I like a bag like this. It's a little bit more formed, it's a little bit more streamlined, and it kind of flows with the bike.
Yeah.
Right.
I think overall it suits the aesthetic and also nice aerodynamic looking bike, and very, very functional at the end of the day.
Well, and when this bike came out, how many years has the Pan Am been out now?
Since 2021.
2021.
Yeah.
And I mean, when it came out, I think it surprised and maybe even shocked a lot of people as to how good it really was.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought that Harley could not play in in this adventure rider market. And the bike it's narrow, it was reasonably light, it wasn't nearly as heavy as everybody thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It had lots of power, and then you guys had features like the
Very adaptive ride height.
the ride height at a stop and everything, and I mean, people were just raving about what this thing did.
Well, and everything is purpose-built on the Pan America as well, and the bike is tough as nails.
Yeah.
I know from my experience, I was the benefactor of being able, and Tom hates it when I tell the story, but when I got to go down to the Mojave Desert and ride him around the desert, I dropped mine, I think it was about 3 or 4 times in total, and everything operated and worked exactly the way it was supposed to. The lever sheared off exactly where they're supposed to shear off. The hand guards kind of busted away and were able to put on real quick, real fast. And there was no damage to the rest of the bike, especially with all of the guards, everything else. Now, in this particular model, we started off with the Pan America 1250, so it's a very stripped down version of it. But again, this is more the street version of the bike, hence why we've got this mega performance machine here. But Pan Am is very purpose designed for all those reasons.
Yeah, there's a lot of thought that goes into, like, Harley, when they build their bikes, they don't release something on trend. They really put a lot of thought, and they're very methodical, and you can see it in their lines of all their bikes, and this bike is no exception to that. They really did their homework on this bike to get what they wanted out of the bike and relative to what's in the market already.
Right.
Now, what I do find is that, you know, anytime we do get a new model out, new Road Glide, new Street Glide, the Pan America, customers are always curious what can be done with these bikes. When we were in Milwaukee last year for the 120th anniversary, they had a whole showcase right outside of the museum that was showing off a lot of the customization that different companies were doing out there. And one of the inspirations was from V2 and Visionary that did a very similar Pan America to this. Now, they took it to a completely other level where it was very stripped down in comparison. But I think, you know, one of our visions behind when we created this was to say, hey guys, you can still buy this platform or bike and we can get into all kinds of different levels of customization for you and really showcase and show off what Calgary Harley-Davidson and CHD Customs is capable of doing.
One of the great things with Harley-Davidson is that there's so much product out there for them. So you really start customizing your bike. You really start making it your own. And this is just a good example of, you know, how far you can take that, even with a brand new platform, even with a brand new bike.
Right. Now, let's talk about wheels and tires here a bit. Because, of course, wheels on adventure bikes are always, you know, there's give and take, there's spokes, there's all the different variations. What did Harley use for a stock wheel, and are these the stock wheels? And these tires certainly don't look very aggressive to me.
No, this bike is primarily built for speed. So these are your stock cast wheels, okay, that were your OEM option on the Pan America 1250 and also on the 1250S. We did actually have it pinstriped, so that's hand pinstriped, the red ring all the way around to kind of give it that performance look, and then also to tie in with all the other red accents on there. But again, the tires we selected are also for like a Super Motard or Street Fighter style of bike.
Harley was really smart in the way they designed this bike. They took just a standard size wheel. These are 17-inch wheels. And because of that, there's a lot of options already available, already in the market for tires and accessories.
Okay, good. We've changed foot pegs. That's all different stuff, correct?
Yeah, that's all flow foot pegs, right? And also for the rear passenger pegs as well. Same with your brake lever, and then I believe your shifter on this one as well. Tom, confirmed? Yeah, it's all by flow, right? So again, just to kind of give it that nice style. We sell a lot of the Flow product here at the dealership. I personally have it on my Fat Bob. It's a great, great product. Your feet don't slip around. They don't move around them. And again, when we're trying to get away from what was the stock factory bike here, we're going to look at every single element on the bike itself to see how we can enhance it and make it more better. More better. More better. I got that one from Tom.
One of the big things we did with this bike here is we added these T-bars on it. These are really popular right now, especially on like the lowriders and the Fat Bobs and stuff. And we decided that we wanted to try it on this bike here with this fairing, trying to give it a kind of what they call a club style, you know, flair to the bike.
Yeah. And are they much higher than what was on here from factory?
Yes, completely different bar altogether. Yeah. The stock bars that are on there are at a really nice height. They've got a low rise on them and a small pullback on the bars, and they're very comfortable to ride with. These are just more better.
Yeah. And you're sitting more north-south in your riding position on the bike.
And it gives you more natural riding. It's like sitting in a chair and just reaching out and everything's just kind of right there for you.
Well, and we know that adventure guys like to stand up a lot. So, you know, I would think that I'm not an adventure rider. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But I would think that that would make it more comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I quite enjoy doing the adventure riding. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's flip this thing around and show everybody the other side.
Sounds good. And this is where you guys get to watch Tom waltz with bikes. It's quite a.
Do you need
quite
a
show.
camera out of the way? Or
No, I should be able to do this.
I'm just going to check. We got lots of battery there.
You go ahead. This is your show.
We got this thing flipped around and we can show you the B side now. So we'll let these guys take it away again.
Well, it's funny because we're always talking about how the side that we're standing on right now, we refer to this as the sexy side of the bike. So now our audience sees the not so sexy side of the bike. But it's still sexy on this particular bike. So a lot of the lighting that we've added to the bike as well, there are small little LEDs just on the backside there that are very, very bright.
Yeah, they're not a marker light, they're an actual light, and they throw off a heck of a lot. Burn your retina.
Yeah. So, and again, it keeps it nice, clean, as far as the signals are concerned. There we go.
Yeah. Nice.
Get them moving back and forth there.
Are those a Harley-Davidson accessory or are they an aftermarket?
That's an aftermarket accessory for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
And hopefully I'm not blinding this camera here
Well,
too
it's
much
okay.
with
We
super
got-
bright light.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but I mean, on the front, we do have like a Moon's multi-beam light up at the front there, so ultra bright. Again,
Now, sorry, is that a Harley piece or is that
that's
aftermarket?
it's aftermarket as well.
aftermarket.
Yeah,
Because the Harley ones are pretty good. I always ask that question.
yeah.
Because the ones on my electric glide are fantastic. They really are good. So I wondered if that was Harley.
Yeah, no, non-Harley. I mean, a lot of the components on here are non-Harley. We do have a Saddleman seat as well on the bike, which it's custom made here for the Pan Am. And again, we sell a lot of Saddleman seats here at the dealership, so we have a lot of really, really good feedback on them. People love them. I personally have one on my bike. Absolutely love it.
Good.
What else we got here, Tom?
Well, you guys were talking about the chain.
Yep. Yeah. And you can see that we've changed the chain on this bike to an aftermarket chain, so it's not the stock Harley chain. And we did it only for aesthetics, no reason other. It's a gold chain, so it's kind of contrasts what's going on there. We blacked out a lot more of the motor than what you would find on the regular stock version of the Pan Am. Powder coated some pieces, and we painted some pieces. And the whole concept of this bike was to be, fast, lean, mean, and just kind of really cool looking. Remind you that you're on a Harley-Davidson, club style.
And who doesn't love a blacked out bike? I mean,
Right.
let's face it.
I still have customers that tell me that it's not a Harley unless it's black.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it's a lean, mean looking bike. It's going to turn a lot of heads. Whoever's going to take this one home from us for sure.
Yeah.
Now, what about brakes? Have
So-
we done anything there?
Brakes are factory Brembo brakes, and that's Harley Davidson.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that Harley-Davidson's been using Brembo brakes. They just haven't been branded since 2014, I believe, was the first year that they came out with the Brembo brakes.
Okay.
And so, Harley takes the best components they can find throughout the world, brings it back to the States to assemble these bikes.
What about suspension?
Suspension is just your factory stock Harley Davidson suspension on this particular bike.
And what's Harley using? Do we know? Or
It's a Shoei?
I think it's a Showa. Yeah.
Showa?
This one has the very adaptive ride height, so as you ride the bike, it'll lift itself up, and then when you come to a stop, it'll lower itself down, so you have better clearance when you're riding the bike and still be comfortable when you stop the bike. As you know, adventure touring bikes are notorious tall bikes because they want that extra clearance on the ground for when they're going over rough roads and stuff, and that's how Harley has adapted to get the best of both.
Okay. Cool.
And there's a lot of tech as well on this bike. It's got a 9-inch screen, TFT screen, bright, really vibrant screen. And you can Bluetooth your phone to it. You can play your music through it if you've got a headset hooked to your phone. One of the cool features I like with the Pan Am is that you can use a Harley-Davidson app and you marry your VIN number to the app, and then you can actually Bluetooth the phone to the screen and you throw maps and destinations and stuff onto the screen while you're riding.
Yeah. And you can control all those functions too, just from the finger controls on the bike. And as well, if you have a Bluetooth headset system inside your helmet, then you can listen to music and you can control that on the screen.
So whose software are they using for all that?
That's a great question.
It's not Apple CarPlay.
No,
it's
no.
not. It's I don't know who they're using for it, but
Yeah, I know on the new bikes here, it's the Skyline operating iOS system is what it's referred to and called. But on the Pan America, unfortunately, I don't know the answer right now, but I can find out for you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let me know and I'll drop it into the video. I have that capability.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Great.
But there's also different ride modes on the bike as well. So on this particular model, you have 3 different ride modes. You got rain mode, road mode, and then a sport mode on this particular bike. On the Pan America 1250S, you're also going to have the off-road mode and the off-road plus mode as well. And then you can also do custom ride modes as well.
and you can program those modes, and then with a flick of a button, you can just cycle through the different modes depending upon how you want to ride the bike.
Okay. What about clutch? Anything special there?
This particular one is, again, your factory stock clutch, but Harley-Davidson does have its called an easy clutch that they can also put on the bike as well, right? So that's an option that, again, if you see our parts department, they can hook you up with that.
So this one is beautiful. You guys have done a great job with it and everything. We now have, and is this the first year for a CVO Pan American?
It is, yeah. So
Yeah, this is the first time.
Yeah. We have one just over there.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
I saw it
really-
over there, and I think there might be another podcast in that.
Yeah, there could very well be.
I love what you've done with it. I'll get a picture of it, and I'll put a picture in here. But we could probably go over that one in another podcast.
You know, the funny thing about that is, obviously, Harley-Davidson is very much standing behind the Pan America. They want to bring more of them to the lineup, and you know, the CVO for this year has a lot of the key design elements to it that we've actually been doing here at the dealer level. And I think that's, you know, one of the things was taking the frame on the Pan America and having it sent out to be powder coated and bring it back. Whereas, you know, the CVO Pan Am has a full on red frame to it. And we've been doing that as we've been customizing these bikes for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
So it's really neat to see that, you know, they're taking that design inspiration from what is happening at their dealerships throughout the network.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's interesting too that you talk about the CVO and custom, because as people who watch the Tubecast or listen to the podcast know, Speed and Color is about custom motorcycle culture. So coming to a dealership, somebody might say, "Well, that's not custom. That's what's at the dealership." What I've always loved about Harley-Davidson is pretty much every bike here is custom.
Yeah.
Whether it came from Harley, whether you guys have massaged it a little bit, whatever, there's such a variety of colors and paint schemes and the accessories that you can add and everything else. I think you would be really hard-pressed to find 2 bikes in this showroom that are identical.
Well, we try and keep it as varied as we possibly can. Yeah, obviously, because we want to showcase.
And there may be, how many bikes are in here right now?
Oh, boy.
60?
At least 60 on this show.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would stand to reason that there would be 2 that would be very, very similar. But, like I say, I think it's cool that you can go into a Harley dealer and virtually everything you're looking at is custom somehow.
Harley-Davidson themselves have a 900K page catalog of accessories for their bikes.
Right.
And the great thing about it, and people realize this when they buy the bike, that they really customize it, they make it their own bikes, and you can register a lot of those parts with the warranty of the bike. So instead of getting an over-the-counter warranty on it, you're getting a full warranty with the bike.
Yes. Yes.
I think a lot of the times we would like to think Harley should just send us bikes without bars, without pipes, without an intake, because, you
It's
know.
one of the biggest questions we get all the time.
Yeah, the
then
vast
you wouldn't
majority of
have-
what we do is basically strip them down and then build them all back up
You wouldn't
again,
have to figure out what to do with the old parts, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
there you
that's-
go.
Yeah,
There
and
you
that's
go.
a whole other discussion, for a whole other podcast. Yeah.
All
But
right.
I mean, you know, what does keep us busy in the wintertime is doing this level of customization, right?
Sure.
And CHD Customs, Calgary Harley-Davidson, has become known in our community for top-end custom bikes. and pushing that limit, that envelope, stuff that you don't traditionally see in Canada. Most of the times you got to go down to the United States, to the big shows down there to get that. Well, we're bringing that to the market here and showcasing it off our showroom floor. So it's really exciting that we have that opportunity to do it. Now, we tend to build in the winter and then sell through the summer. So it does help to keep us nice and busy around here.
So you mentioned CHD Customs a couple of times, and I'm just wondering, there's been some changes at the dealership for the better, no issue that way. CHD Customs still an important part of the dealership? Is it going to be around?
Absolutely, yeah. We've got a couple of projects that we're working on right now, where we've got maybe some different designs and some different inspiration coming from some different individuals that really want to keep CHD Customs alive and bring it back to life, in a different state, in a different form. We've done a lot of really cool builds over top of the years. We've had some amazing people that have worked for this dealership that really had quite the vision, and it's going to be really exciting for maybe some of us other guys to put our 2 cents in and take that in a different direction now.
Oh, that's great.
So we've actually got a custom breakout that we just finished not too long ago here. We're working on a road glide right now that should be pretty show-stopping. So we've got a lot of things that are in the mix, especially on that new chassis, that new body style there.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful paint on this too.
Oh,
Man,
Harley's got some of the best
gross.
paint in the industry.
Oh, crazy
it's absolutely
stuff.
amazing.
Yeah.
And the colors you see on your computer do not do it justice. You have to come to a dealership. You have to see these colors. This is my new favorite color this year.
It's great. It is just so.
It's got such depth to it.
So much going on in it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of spec to it. It's beautiful.
Great.
Do you want to see another one?
Well, I think we should do that. We'll get set up and do another one.
Well, sure. I'll go grab it right now.
Right on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take this one away.
Good job, you guys.